Hi, wonderful teachers. It's Ellie here with another Wellness Wednesday workshop. And today we are going to be talking about the hands. Um, it seems like everybody's hands and wrists and forearms are really sore from all of the extra computer time and typing. So we are going to talk a little bit about some ways, some very quick ways that you can do some self-massage and try to loosen those up a little bit. And by now, you probably know that I put a lot of stock in neutrality. So before we begin working on our hands, we're just going to take a second to get neutral. So if your chin is a little bit forward, go ahead, draw it back. We're going to make sure our head is over our heart. Place those wonderful hardworking hands over the heart for a moment. And then go ahead and notice if your heart is forward of your pelvis, just drop back. This is whether you're sitting or standing. This is a neutral skeleton position. So then hands down by the side. We don't want any medial rotation. We want our shoulders to be relaxed and soft. And go ahead and just take a second to really feel your body in space. Soften the muscles of the jaw and of the forehead. Soften through the neck and shoulders. Let the arms dangle. And imagine a softening around the rib cage and the heart, which allows for more expansion of the ribs and the belly. So I want to give you guys a little bit of just an image of what we're working with here. So there are many, many bones in the hand. Obviously, you probably know about the carpals and the metacarpals and the phalanges. Okay, but then also we've got all of these muscles in the hand, and our hands are not big and beefy. So if you can just take a minute to appreciate how many tiny muscles are working in concert. And most of these muscles are quite flat, quite thin, so they get overtired pretty easily. And that is kind of why they're really sore. But another thing that we don't often talk about are all of the extensor and flexor muscles of the hand that are in the forearm. So most of the muscles that control a lot of the work we're doing when we are moving our fingers up and down like this and our wrists movement like this, those are all in the forearm. So the muscles in the hand get tired the fastest because they're the smallest and the weakest muscles. And then these muscles also get fatigued without us really noticing it all the time. So we are going to warm them up, and then we're going to stretch them out a little bit and massage them out. So whenever we massage a muscle, it is best for it to be soft, and it's also really good for it to be warm. So since we don't have a lot of time to have somebody else warming us up with some good oil and stuff, we are going to warm them up ourselves. And this is also a great brain break. So we're just going to take our hands kind of to this. I don't know, my sister did cheerleading briefly, so this is what candlesticks pose. I don't know, that might have been specific to her school. I did not cheerlead. Okay, so we're going to take our hands and we're just going to quickly open and close. Just open and close. And right here, just draw that chin back again. Head over heart. Try not to shrug the shoulders up. Now go ahead and take them up into this candlesticks pose. I think, or no, wait, this. T candlesticks. Box. Ah. Okay. Box pose. Okay. Keep going. Keep opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing. Touchdown. So try not to lock the elbows out here. And again, notice if you're shrugging the shoulders up, let them soften away from the ears. Great. And if you are shrugging up, go ahead and widen the hands out. I know you can't see them very well here, but just widening out a little bit. You might start to feel some real tightness and heat in the forearms. Just keep going. We're going to come out into a T pose. So my arms are straight out here, palms face front. I'm just scooching out so you can see my palm face front. Okay, and then we're going to face the palms down. Feeling really, really hot. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, palms face back behind you. Great. So we've twisted our arms here. palms are facing back behind us, palms down to the side, so that way we give the shoulders a break, shake them out, but we're still squeezing the forearms together, or the fingers, squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them, and then shake them out. So hopefully there's a lot of heat going on. So now make a fist with the thumb outside, roll the fist in one direction, stay connected to that good breathing, roll the fist in the other direction. One of my coaches always said, keep a neutral face. Don't waste any energy scrunching up the face when something gets difficult. Now, hands wide, we're going to tuck the thumbs under, and we're going to roll the fist again, one direction. You might feel a big stretch here in that thumb muscle. So now we're really concentrating on the thumb. And then other direction. Good. Now we're going to just bring the hands, clasp the fingers together and give a really nice tight squeeze, and then just wiggle a little bit. This is, we're really kind of starting to work into the muscles right here. Just give them a little bit of pressure in here. Ooh. And squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then we can take the palms out, stretch your fingers. So basic finger stretches that I think everybody kind of just instinctively does. We're going to just pull the fingers back. And then if you keep the wrist firm here and nice and straight, you're really going to get a stretch through the hand and the fingers. And then if you let the wrist go, then we'll start to stretch out through this anterior forearm here. And you can place the hand actually on your leg, get a bigger, deeper stretch here. So move to the other hand, stretching out the fingers. We can do this the whole hand. Okay, so then you're gonna stretch out the palm here, stretch out through the forearm, and then we can come the other way, right? Just press the fingers toward the forearm. And we can even do a rolling thing. So if you curl your fingers in and try to imagine like that you're really spiraling in from the very tips, and then curl in, curl the arms in, and let the head come down. Rock the head side to side a little bit. And then we unfurl like a beautiful flower. Great. Okay, so our muscles should be warm a little bit from the inside now. Now we're going to go through a few self-massage tips. So we'll just move through both arms here. So I'm going to take my flat hand and just rub it. So we talked about before, gosh, the sun is making this difficult to see. Before, when we're really getting into the muscle, I'm really pressing through the skin and working onto the muscle. Right now I am doing that rub. So this is bringing some blood to the skin, just warming it up. And you actually should feel warmth in your palm pretty quickly, or your fingers, and maybe even in the arm. And go ahead and rub the other side to the inside. This is actually called, even though this feels like the back side, the palm side, it's actually the anterior forearm, because anatomical position has the hands like this. And this is anatomical position standing here, neutral. Okay, so anterior forearm here, rub it all over. Great. And then, once you feel like that's pretty warm, we're gonna keep rubbing, but we're gonna use the back side of our fingers here. And I usually just use these 3 fingers and just let the pointer finger kind of relax. So we're just going to press up, and we generally move toward the heart when we do this. And I'm not pressing too hard, but I'm just kind of like skiing down, skiing back up the muscles here. And if you remember, keep doing this, those forearm muscles, they actually cross all the way over the elbow joint, just connecting up into the humerus. So go ahead and take this gently, gently over the joint. So always super gently and soft over the joint, but follow the path of the muscle right up to here. Okay, so it's right about there that it's connecting in. So you can use the backs of your fingers, you can use the knuckles like this, pulling it, come onto the other side. So this is kind of fun. I'm not sure if you can see this very well, but so if I've got my fingers, if my muscles are relaxed enough, when I when I pull up like this, it will curl my fingers. So it actually creates um, the motion of the muscle without me doing it. So that's a good test to see if your muscle is relaxed enough. And it's also a way that I know if my clients are actually relaxing. If their fingers stay straight, they are not relaxing. Anyway, okay. So now we're going to move into a squeeze. We're just squeezing, squishing all those muscles. This is just a softening, like kind of almost rinsing it out. Just get everything in there. I do like to go all the way right up over the elbow joint. So we're just squeezing it here. And then my very favorite thing to do, a technique that I use pretty much any part of my body, massaging myself. So I'm going to squeeze, and then I'm just going to I'm going to rotate my wrist, wiggle the fingers, and I'm moving. So moving all the way from the wrist toward the elbow, being pretty gentle. I'm not trying to hurt myself, obviously, like really, really paying close attention to that difference between discomfort and pain, squeezing, rotating. Okay, now I'm going to squeeze, instead of with this C clamp and this nice broad fingers, I'm going to dig my fingers in just a little bit. So there's several muscles here. There's 3 or 4 or 5 different different extensors on the back here, well, on the posterior arm, and then several different flexors. But I really focus on these guys, and I'm kind of going to do this like squish wiggle, right? So I'm using the pads of my fingers, almost getting in between the muscles, really letting myself feel the fibers of the muscle and moving up through them. So now I am doing that where I'm pressing through the skin and wiggling it up. And then just kind of end on a circular rub that generally feels pretty good. And then we can actually kind of grab the muscle. So I'm taking my fingers and kind of picking up all of this. And depending on how much muscle tissue you have in your forearm, this will take more or less time. But I like to really kind of grab it between my fingers and almost wiggle it away from the bones, softening up all that fascia in there. And we talked a lot about fascia in the live sessions. So I think I'm going to do a separate video on that because there's so much to cover about it. But yeah, so we'll just kind of ignore it right now. But the fascia is all over, and there's no blood vessels in fascia. So we really need to work hard to move blood around it. Okay, so then we're just going to keep. It's harder to pick up the muscles here, but you can do it, and you notice it's easier if you really let it be soft by bending the elbow. So just squeeze and grab. And then the last thing to do here, this is kind of one of my favorites. It's squeezing it out. So I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to imagine somebody pulling my arm. So I am using a pushing motion, but there's a subtle difference in how the muscles work when I imagine somebody pulling it away from me. So the arm is pulling, and then with this hand, I'm going to get a nice wide C and just wring it out, milking. And I always do some kind of rotation here. It helps protect the elbow joint. Also, you'll just notice, just make sure you pay close attention to what feels good in your body. Okay, so then I'm using this oppositional energy here, pulling away. And then sometimes if I get up to the elbow joint, you can feel your hands kind of connecting on to the heads of the humerus bone. Well, it's one head, but it's got 2 facets here. And so I like to just sit there, and I feel some tenderness right in here. So I'm going to just slightly back off of the pressure and slow down. So I'm not going to stop the motion because I feel tenderness. I have gotten very accustomed to discerning the difference between the tenderness of a bruise or an injury and the tenderness of overuse and sore. So that overuse sore, I don't want to cause any more inflammation in there by pressing too hard. So, but I also want to bring some attention to it and some healing energy kind of into my body. So I'm just going to slow down when I find tenderness and breathe into it and just sink there and just let that kind of know that I'm paying attention to it. Okay, so quick, brief review on the other arm because I know this video is a little bit longer than the other ones. We're gonna rub with the flat hand all over, bring some warmth into the tissue and into the skin. You might even see it starting to turn a little bit red. That's totally normal, just those blood vessels are coming to the surface, opening up. Then take the back of the hand, the backs of the fingers here. So, and we're skiing up. Again, not too much pressure, we're just warming things up, letting myself come up all over the elbow joint. Really, you're not gonna press hard inside the elbow here. There's some nerves that go through here, and this is not a good idea. But we are going to gently come up, coming with the muscle, which again, when we do that squeezing, you can really see that the muscle continues up to right here. Like you just can see it. That's why we have that skin there. The muscle comes right up into there. Okay, so we're doing our skis, and then we're going to do some squeeze and twist. So first you could just squeeze it, squeeze, 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 like really. You can use the thumb all around in the C-clamp or alligator, get some blood moving, or you can, if you can see this very well, I squeeze with the palm and the fingers, take some pressure off the thumb if your thumbs are really, really sore. So this allows you to do some squeezing without overuse injuring your thumb. Okay, so then we're going to take that squeezing motion from the wrist to the elbow, again, always moving toward the heart. We're just going to rotate the wrist a little, like circles, or wiggle the fingers, and you should actually feel the muscles engaging underneath the massaging hand. Okay, so squeeze and twist, squeeze and twist. Some of these feel better on one arm than the other, or better to some bodies than other bodies. Okay, so then I'm going to do a little bit more deep pulling, right? And then I'm going to use my finger pads to kind of get in there in between those muscles. And again, I'm really doing a twist here. And then up here is when I start to feel a lot of this twisting motion, feeling really, really nice. So bend your elbow, straighten your elbow, just experiment. It's amazing actually how much we can learn about our own body, even though you live in it 100% of the time. There's just ways of reconnecting with your own body that you're constantly using by doing some of the self-massage, and I think that is just a wonderful thing. Okay, so then after we do some of that, we're going to wring it out, or no, we're going to pick up and grab. So then we're going to really grab onto all that muscle and see if we can wiggle it away. Again, I'm not trying to hurt myself at all. I'm just trying to get some more blood flow to these muscles that are being overused, get them a little bit of stretch, pull. So there's like kind of a squeeze and pull here happening, pulling it up and away from the radius is the one that connects to into the thumb and the ulna, and they actually twist over each other. Oh my gosh, the forearm is so cool, you guys. It is such a cool unit. Okay, so then we're going to do that. That's pulling, oppositional pulling. So I'm going to let my arm feel like it's being pulled away from my body, and I am going to pull this. It's almost like drawing a bow string. So I'm an archer here. I'm getting ready. I don't know. But that helps me remember to keep my chest up, and I'm really just super graceful about it. It's amazing. Okay, so then I like to hook in here into my humerus, the long bone of the upper arm, and just kind of twisty, twisty, twist. Feel it. Feels good. Nice and soft, nice and gentle here. Really milking it, pulling it out. And then afterward, we'll just do a little monkey breath. So this is a great one, again, to do with kids. There's a little chipmunk running by. He just stole a hickory nut. It's like he's asking permission. Anyway, okay, so inhale, hands up. Exhale, draw the energy in. So again, nice neutral spine, head over heart, heart over pelvis. Deep breath, let it all go, shake out the arms, that should bring a little bit more energy back to the body, but also a little bit more warmth back into the hands and get them all ready for you. And I'm so grateful for all that you do. Thank you. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.